of course, we can look at other parts of the world and see the violence that has been done against civilians in Northern Africa, in Western China, in Myanmar. I mean, we clearly could isolate any number of places where this is happening. But Putin's war is especially horrific because of the number of people he's killed, but also the number of refugees he has produced. I think that it's very hard to hold him accountable to international law or to the accepted rules of warfare because he laughs at such rules. He doesn't care about such rules. The whole point of his war is to show that he does not care about such rules. So, but it is frightening. And we know that democracies can be destroyed through the will of the people. You know, like, we want a fascist, we want an authoritarian. That person or that regime will restore us to our basic order. That person, that regime will give us back our basic values, will protect us from foreigners, will protect us from economic insecurity. There are right-wing fantasies of that kind that allow for fascists to come to power, which is why the left needs a very strong imagination, because they have a strong fantasy of restoring order, and we need a very powerful imagination. Yes, well, I think we did see this clearly when Poland opened its borders to the Ukrainian people who were fleeing from this hideous war. And of course, we all applaud the Polish people and the Polish government for opening those borders. But let's remember that Poland also has been detaining and refusing Afghan and Syrian refugees, and that even internal to Poland, there have been all kinds of efforts to isolate gay, lesbian, and trans people so that they are not free to operate in public space. So, you know, sometimes the right thing is done by a country at the same time that they subscribe to certain notions of inequality that they will not change. There are good migrants and bad migrants, right? And the good ones look like the Poles. They're white, they're very often connected by culture or even possibly language or history. But those who come from North Africa or Afghanistan or Syria, they are less welcome. And of course, we know that there are quite brutal stories about the treatment of Afghani refugees throughout the European Union. In Germany, apparently, they give the Ukrainians a separate place in the detention center, which is slightly nicer than the ones that they reserve for other refugees. So it's like, is that a racial hierarchy? Is it a national hierarchy? And I have had these conversations. People who say, oh, I belong to a traditional family, a father, a mother, a heterosexual marriage, procreation, children. We live in a single family house. We go to church. This is my traditional family structure. And anything else that exists in the world threatens this. And the question is, well, why does it threaten it? Why can't they just be your next door neighbors? You can continue to have your traditional family. Mm-hmm. You can have that. If you want that, that's beautiful. You should have that. No, you know, I don't have any problem with that. I don't know, you know, I'm not saying, oh, all traditional families should be destroyed. In fact, I'm saying, good, have what you need and love and want. But do not think that you are representing all of humankind. Do not think that you are exemplifying a natural or God-given law. And why can't you accept the idea that other people have different forms of intimate association, different ways of thinking about sexuality, different ways of living sexuality, maybe not reproductive, maybe reproductive outside the family. So in my mind, the future of the feminist movement depends fundamentally on its continuing ability to produce stronger and even more surprising solidarities cross-regionally and cross-class. I think those who put feminism down as identitarian or exclusionary are perhaps not studying its complexity and its various regional expressions. I think it remains one of the most dynamic and promising social movements of our time.